Yeah. My man Julius with the year real early up in this B. Welcome in, brother Julius. Good morning to you, bro. Yo, Alex Tom. Wow, that's a pleasant entry. Appreciate you, brother. My man Alex. Hit you with the What's going on with you, Alex? I appreciate you for popping in, bro. How you been? What's going on with you, man? Talk to your boy GK. Julius, early in the room with the year. Appreciate you. Yeah, yes, sir. I'm gonna do a little quick session now. Then I got some errands to run, and I'm come back and finish up. But I'm gonna test out Battletoads to see how y'all like it. Figure I'll do a little retro style today. Let's get it poppin'. You good? You chilling? You off work today? No work today? You home? How's everything going, man? It's a little early morning stream. Usually on Tuesdays, I'm more on like around 2-ish.
Being a bad guy is great. Cool hideout, fancy hoverboards.
And no one can tell me to wear a shirt.
Haven't played a retro beat 'em up in a minute.
It's the latest Battletoads, including
Oh, you at work?
Alita,
Okay.
Pimple, the
And I never
Strong,
actually
and
beat this
Rash,
game.
the
Got like halfway
sunglasses
through.
one.
Don't forget Best Kisser.
Enough talk. It's time to... Best kisser. Why are you the best kisser?
How's work
Maybe
going, bro?
because I practice on my
Are you at work now? So what time you get off work? Hopefully early.
That just means you're the best
Hopefully you only
kisser
got a
in
few
hand.
hours left.
Come on. There's more goals outside.
Yeah.
Love the aesthetics of this game so much. Oh, God. Come on, let's fucking go. Oh, let's put a pain. No, sir. Okay, control. Okay, he is. Fuck that shit up. Okay. Right trigger left. L. If I remember correctly, there should be. There you go. That's how you get back life. You gotta keep it alive.
Come on!
on with you, kitty? Welcome in, kitty. We get off at 2 p.m. You almost there, Alex. My man, you almost there. How your day going, kitty?
Look out!
Okay.
Join my gang or die. We offer competitive wages, dinner insurance, and paternity leave.
No wait, Dork Shank.
Then die!
Oh my God. Bro, eat the fly, bro. Please, God damn it, man. Eat the fly, my guy. Alright, I ain't gonna lie. This game's kind of fun.
Bye! Is that it?
Guess so.
Look, an instantly gratifying victory ceremony.
Bro, eat the fly, bro. Bro, eat the fly, bro. Eat the fly, bro. What the fuck? Kitty, welcome back. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. I've been had this game, you know, I just never beat it. So I figured I started over on the stream. Kitty, how's work going? Oh, here comes this motherfucker again. I got him this time, though.
This bubblegum pig just won't quit.
Bubblegum pig is crazy. Oh, ooh. Oh, somebody hit that one again. Hit that burp again. Hit that burp again. So I can't dolly out of it. That don't make one lick of fucking sense. Yo, somebody hit that burp again. Come on, I moved out of the way though. Oh, some of the lasers going off though. Come on. Not away.
See ya!
Why do we keep
Is
running?
that Pit's problem?
Besides punching too slowly.
Nice one.
I missed it. This laser motherfucker right here. There we go with the fucking laser. Fuck out of here. Oh, damn, they really stuffing though. Oh, no more okay, out of stock? Okay. Yeah, I missed one.
Third time's a charm.
Give up, Porkshank. There's 3 of us and only 1 of you.
Oh, come on, man.
Oh yeah? Well, there's still 3 of us.
Oh, they're fucking me up. Oh, God. Oh, shit. No way they fought. Yeah, buddy. Get him out of here.
And so I finally pass into the afterlife. Wait, there's nothing here. Make the most of the time you have.
Yikes.
I don't think he's coming back this time.
Oh well, sucks to be him. On with the celebration.
I love the silly humor of this game. It's fucking quirky as well. Rash, pimple, and zits.
Now,
You don't have to remember the other two's name. I just do Rash, pimple, and zits.
I forgot.
There you go.
Yep. Everyone loves us, and now we can
Oh, they got the
fly.
little.
the universe
They doing it. They doing it.
stand with me.
One more time for the one more time.
We are God. What the? Tony, cut the work. There's friggin' frogs in here. Who is this guy?
This game is too fucking silly and fun.
We're gonna get you out of that bunker.
Bunker?
We are gods! We are... No, not this time. Just me.
Man, I missed one fucking collectible. Damn it, man. Didn't know you had to whip tongue.
In lighter news, we've all heard of Toad in the Hole. But toads in a hole? Julie Saturn Rings has more.
Thanks, Zerb. Sounds bizarre, but that's exactly what a local construction crew discovered this afternoon.
Yeah, so we was digging, for construction stuff, and I find this bunker with friggin' frogs trapped inside. And I mean, it stinks. So we checked the wiring, and these morons been in there for 26 years living a simulated fantasy life. And I mean, they stink.
26 years in a fantasy bunker? You'd have to be gullible not to figure that one out. So, frogs, how you feeling? Stupid?
We're not frogs. We're toads.
The battle toads.
We're famous superheroes.
This just in. No, you're not. This has been Julie
This just
Saturn Rings
in. No,
asking,
you're not.
What are they going to do now?
This bitch is fresh. Disrespectful. This bitch said, this just in. No, you're not. Wow.
thought the promotion was pretty much a guarantee at this point. Then we had that meeting about the email.
Forgot how interesting this game was. Very, very interesting. Art style and everything is just different. Gotta appreciate the uniqueness of it, you know what I mean?
And I told him I don't care about games from the 90s. Some things are just meant to stay buried forever.
They just say, assume good intent.
Oh wait, that weird lizard guy's looking.
Interesting story slash minigame combo here. I like it.
What?
Man, famous superhero. I need a better apartment play.
So,
It's pretty
we
shitty.
don't own anything worth stealing.
You're right. I'll go apologize. Knock, knock. Sorry, we're poor. Oh, it's just Rash wearing a diaper.
Ah, solved
Yo,
it!
T, what's going on with you, bro? Welcome in,
brothers.
welcome
Are we
in.
brothers? We never talk about it. Doesn't matter. Take a seat, I'll stand. No, you stand.
Kicking
I'll
it a
stand.
bit retro style
Everyone
right now,
stand.
you feel me?
Listen, I've been up all night mimicking the methods of TV
Why is he wearing a
detectives.
diaper?
Tracking, triangulate, enhance, and I've pinpointed the precise location of the Dark Queen.
Could you pinpoint a dumpster and burn that diaper?
This is the Dark Queen we're talking about, remember? She nearly destroyed the galaxy, I think, but we beat her up, which sent her, and I want to say, spinning into space, and we can do it again.
Yeah, I did that same thing, man. Woke up, freshened up, got me some tea, and rolled up.
Not pain.
And I'm lead attacher at the email factory. We're moving on.
The wake and
Moving on
bake
to
process
what?
is
Our
real,
sink is
you feel
busted,
me?
the pipe-
They don't understand till you gotta wake and bake, you feel me? I feel me?
Jobs and a roof over our heads.
Gotta get
I'm
that
not
morning
ready to
going
capture
right.
Well, I'm not
You feel
I'm
me?
ready to live my life as just another toad, but mostly, I'm not certain that I could.
You ever played this game, T? Unique ass game.
Okay, Rash, we're in. Let's go build you a brand
I
new
like the fact that
audience.
they stick to
Really
the shit
need
that is a whole
Damn
parody.
right I do. Now, where do we find the Dark Queen?
Not where, when.
Tea, oh, definitely gotta have my tea. It's either tea or
When
water.
I've cleaned myself up.
Sometimes I
And we're
kick it
renting
old school and get some
turbines,
coconut water too.
baby. Woohoo! Battletoads reboot!
I'm gonna need something to take that diaper off. That's kind of crazy. Oh, this is the newer one. This came out in 2020, I think. Somewhere like that. This was the latest. Oh man, this is it.
Remember, fellas, these turbo bikes are rental.
This is what
You know
Battletoads is
that
known
is.
for right here. This shit right here. Let's fucking go. Let me do it. See if G-Big still got the reflex, nigga. This where real fucking. How? Let's fucking go. I got this, chat. I got this. Ah, I don't know how that hit me. Fuck. concentration level is on fleek right now. Ah, fuck that up. Oh my god. How? 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 Okay. Fuck that up. Fucking soundtrack is crazy. Got rock and roll. I don't understand that. Thought I was measured up. Why did that one keep hitting me? What am I doing wrong here? Is the reflex is just a little slow? The fuck? Got that. I remember this being one of the annoying things about this fucking game. These levels. What? How does that one keep hitting me? I can't get away from that one. Did myself in on that one. Did myself in on that one being jumpy. What am I doing wrong for that middle one? Get busy. That one is not fair. Okay, I can at least check one. Okay, let me check one.
Son's turbo back Reynolds. My sensors indicate you're driving like a bat out of heck. Dang it. If you don't slow down, I'll have my sons post nasty rumors about you on the galactic internet. They're handsome boys, but they're mean as dirt and itching to embarrass you. Hope it doesn't come to that.
Nope, not getting me with the drop. Nope. Nope. Come on. How? They get really annoying with this shit. Alright. What is hitting me right there, though? What is what? Oh, dude! Fuck you. Damn it. What is killing me though? Oh, I didn't know it was so bad. Seriously? Oh my God. Okay, you back just in time. Back just in time. But this is some fuck shit right here, kid. Don't fuck with me now. Watch the first. Don't fall off, man. Ow! The fuck? What the fuck? Bro, come on. That's such a setup. Ah.
Oh, I warned you, Toad. Now my
Sheesh.
beautiful boys are spreading all sorts of lies about you until you turn my back. This is my business model. He sounds pretty annoyed.
Oh, we got more of this shit?
Don't trust obviously unstable anthropomorphic toads?
Bingo.
Alright, comes to a point where we gotta get around this. You see that? You see that type of fuckery? Ah. Come on. Come on. Ah! Jesus Lord. GG, I got one. I got more. I got more, kitty. My old ass reflexes ain't doing this. There you go. As soon as the shit starts. Bullshit. Ah! 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 Come on! You always gonna make that. Ah! Fuck it. No way! Yo, what up, though? What's going on with your codes? Welcome in. They really testing old boy reflexes right now, Coles. Ow. Ow. Fuck. Ah! Oof. Oof. Ah! On, man. Oh, okay. All right. Ah. First of all, let me clap it up for chat. Appreciate you motherfuckers being up early fucking with your boy. Drop a bomb. Let's get this shit going again. One life down already. Oh my god. Woo! Shit. Oh my god. Come on. So you got my Dukes back home though, and all settled in. Mission accomplished. GG's, my guy. Whatever the mission was, it's accomplished, man. Yes, sir. Ow. I be swearing I be lined up right for that one, and then I'm just not. No! Ugh. Alright, checkpoint. At least we hit a checkpoint. We hit a checkpoint. Damn. What is this? I like this one. Oh, this is nice. I like this pink shit. This is interesting right here. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Oh, yeah. Ah. Ooh. Ah. Ooh. Ah. Yeah. Ah. Ah. Damn. Ah. Ah, ah, shit. How am I supposed to get away from all of them? It's like 11 of them shit. Superpower. Yep, fuck all y'all. Yep, you just riding through. Yep, fuck that. Superpower, superpower, superpower. I'm cheating. GK's cheating. GK's cheating. Superpower, superpower. Fuck that. I hope this shit lasts the whole ride. Yep, superpower. Fuck that. Superpower.
Toads, I made my sons delete their posts. The truth is, my business.
Yo,
is
Brooklyn
failing.
Jeff, what's going on with my guy BK Jeff, man?
My sons.
Welcome in, Brooklyn Jeff.
Please,
Playing a little
return my
Battletoads,
bikes.
you know.
This is Chet from Chet Sons.
What's he so worried about? The bikes look literally the same as when we started this journey.
Alright. We actually finally defeated that part. Let's go. I say about to make some grub. The fam is good. You're blessed. Yes, sir.
5 missed messages. I'll listen to them later.
What is this place?
Looks like the Queen is hiding in an abandoned theme park.
Be careful. It's been years since our last tetanus shot.
can get all the flies. That's the light system. Ah. What's the shift? I mean, if it's a good like Koza said, bro, if it's a good opportunity for you, take that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you'll be working Monday through Friday. Is it a different time than what you're doing now? Hey, a little bit more money. There you go. Shit. More money and free on the weekends. Yeah, I'll be hitting that OT too. Shit, I'm usually off Wednesdays. I work tomorrow. I gotta make that money. The extra day for me is an extra 12 hours. Yeah, give me that. Give me that. Yeah, like Cole just said, man, get that bread, bro. Get that bread. 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. Damn, that's 4 p.m. to I could actually work that shift. I could work that shift 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. So that means you'll get home like what? Yeah, the day's over. The day's pretty much over at that point. I ain't even gonna lie to you. The day's over. And you got weekends off? Damn, 4 p.m. start though? Free on weekends is peak. That's a fact. And you got like a lot of hours during the day to do stuff. Because you still get home enough to sleep a couple of hours in the night. Say you get home about 2. You go to bed at 3. So that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. By 11 a.m., that's about 7 hours. About 8 hours of sleep. Then you got another 5 hours before you got to go to work. You can actually run some errands, do some chores, do some daytime stuff. It's not the worst. It's not the worst. Yeah, Koza made it even better. 8 hours of sleep, you up at 10 a.m. Exactly. It's not that bad, bro. A little bit more money, bro. Jump on that shift, bro. Jump on, man. Listen, clap that shit up, bro. Clap that shit up. I say take that motherfucker, man. It's downtown Brooklyn, so you drive. So you'll get home approximately at that time of night. Get off at 12. You'll be home at 1 something. You'll be home about 45 minutes to an hour. I don't even think it'll take you a whole hour to get home at that time of night. traffic ain't heavy like that. 20 minutes. Look at that. I was overestimating. You be home at, motherfucker be home by 12:30, 12:45. That's not bad, bro. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. When I work Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I get out at 8 something. By the time I travel home, take a shower, I usually run a stream about 11. You get number 12:30. That ain't bad. That ain't bad at all. I don't think that's a bad deal. Go in and jump all over that. A little bit more money? Why not? Crazy thing is, I'm usually up late anyway, so 4 p.m. to 12 a.m., I would actually jump all over that. I'm usually up till 2 a.m. anyway. Just for no fucking reason anyway. Even when I got work the next morning, that nigga still be up till 2 o'clock, son. And I gotta be up at 7, the latest. Yeah, you got some time to chill, bro. Like, I fucks with it. Control Alt Delete. I'm a fucking genius. I'm a fucking genius. That's kind of cool. On Friday, it closes at 6 p.m. So from 6 p.m. to 12 a.m. you chilling. Wow. You go which library you talking about? The big one?
Ooh, look, a spaceship!
That is a nice looking spaceship.
I'm just relieved it's not another ambush.
Yeah, how come there's never anyone
Hey,
around here?
Tala
until they wanna
Loco, what's
fight
going
and then
on
they
with you,
magically
sis? Welcome
appear?
in.
Some people just never know, Rash. And some will just
I
have some
appreciate you for
really
popping in
reason.
on us, sis. How you doing? What's going on with you, sis? What's going on? I feel like I should shoot these. See, told you. I missed one already? Come on. Turn around, muscle man. They fucking me up. They really trying to fuck me up. They're not trying to fuck me up. They just flat out fucking me up. So I'm walking with the mean monkey posture. Come on, they fucking me up. Oh, they got me. They got me. Motherfuckers got me. Alright, let's do this again. Why the electric take so much life though? They quiet. Come on. These little electric dudes are the worst. Watch the bullshit. Come on, punch him. Fucking go, man. God damn. So you got an easier work day, bro. Let me see. Let me catch up with chat. You doing shit with the big one that's on Eat Flatbush. Okay, I know which one you're talking about. The big ass iconic one down there. That's good shit. When I got the email about the shift, I text home mail. It's like, yo, are you leaving that shift? The dude was just like, yo, bro, take that shit. It's me and you. Bro, it's over. Bro, it's over. Parking lots, good home. Damn, bro, you straight. And you got easier work. You straight, my guy. Here we go again with one of these shits. What went wrong? What went wrong? I didn't solve the puzzle? I did, because I can't brush it again. So what went wrong? Okay. Do I have to tug it? What are we doing here? What am I missing? Oh. Okay. I'm a little lost here. How do we do that? What do we do? Aha. Come on, how y'all trap me in like this? Come on, that's not fair. That's not fair. I gotta do this again. Oh no, I don't. Ow, come on, that's bullshit. Come on. Punch this stupid looking balloon. I feel like I can press this. Okay, guess not. Me was good, bro. Battletoads, Battletoads, Battletoads. That's the name of the game. Is Battletoads. Oh my god. Mm. Ah. Good. You never played Battletoads? Old school game from back in the day. This is the most recent one, I think, 2020. My man TY with the bidding. Appreciate you, bro. man, this game will make you work though. Yeah, damn. I know what you're talking about. The teacup game. I know what you're talking. You talking about Cuphead. Is it Cuphead? It's Cuphead, right? You know, it's Cuphead. Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay, alright, let's see.
Bam.
Hey, what do you
That
guys
was
think of
easy.
mine? I may be zits, but you're the one getting popped.
Ooh. I gotta get my man right here. My man, Gluttony. This for you right here, baby.
From JA to UK.
One time for the one time, bro.
Expect any.
Fuck out of here. I like manual hack. Oh shit. Oh, that caught me? Wow, how?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, alright, let's see. Yeah. Okay.
How the fuck am I supposed to get through the last one?
Okay. Alright, okay.
Oh.
Control Alt Delete.
Fuck. I get it.
Okay, alright, let's see.
I get it.
Okay. Alright, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Got it. What's going on with you though, G? What's going on with you? Easy. Everybody knows games like this, you can't touch the acid floor. Yo, Glut, this game got co-op, I'm just saying. Cheap as fuck, too. Yo, these little electric dudes are annoying. Watch it, about to start shot. Let me see. Alright, another puzzle to figure out. Let's figure it out.
Got it. Yeah. Ooh.
I think I got it. I think I might have it on the first. Come down here, come down here, go up there, this, that. I think I might have it on the first try. Let's see what happens.
Got it. Yeah. Ooh.
Why'd you stop? What the fuck?
Okay. Alright, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, but why are you stopping though? I don't understand why you're stopping here.
Got it. Yeah. Ooh. Control Alt Delete. Okay. Alright, okay.
I don't get it. Why are you stopping there? A little confused on this one. Okay. Can you, Yes. Yes. The, Rash. You talking about Rash. Yes, he's the Battletoad from Killer Instinct. One of these guys. This one. This is Rash. This one. Okay, help me out here. Why is this not moving? Perfect. Down, across. What? Oh.
I need a whole case of Zit Splits. I got some packs.
Okay, I don't know what just happened. All right. Oh my god. This is annoying. I see what's going on. You gotta take out the electric dude right here. Okay. No problem. Come on, there's no way. Come on, why? I know, fuck up. Oh, electric bitch. Ooh, okay. We're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. Here. Cam, what's going on with you, Cam? Bro. Bro, move, god damn it, why are you moving like this, man? Here we go with this shocking shit again. Get rid of this shock guy. Punch him. Fuck out of here now, man. Shit.
Okay, back to,
Put the big hand on him. You feel what I'm saying? Fuck out of here.
I'm gonna puke.
Fighting is harder than I remember.
Oh, swallowed it.
Cool game. Get shard. Okay. Yo, that's my favorite blurb. I'm gonna need y'all to spam the fuck out of that one. Oh my God. I'm gonna need y'all to spam. Listen. 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 Your ass is about to be missing. You know who gonna find you? Some old man fishing. Grandma wishing your soul to rest. But it's hard to digest with the size of that hole in your chest. DMX, people. That's DMX. Need y'all to hit that blurb another motherfucking time, man. I love that shit. Kitty, you was the first one to ever actually play that one, ever. I didn't even know it was up there, because CJ loaded them shits up. I love that shit. That shit is so fire. Oh my God. Everybody dance now. Don't get me hype. Don't get GK hype. Don't get GK hype in this motherfucker. Oh, I don't want to let you do it. Yeah, Kitty said the same thing, man. Yo, Gluttony, hit that blurb right there, man. Bum ass nigga, man. Over there in the UK, not doing shit with himself. That's the rings. No, I don't want the rings, nigga. I want the everybody dance now blurb,
Yo, GK.
man.
Let me hear something. Drop some bars, bro.
Who asked for some bars? Who asked for some morning bars? I'm about to drive this shit till the wheels fall off like a fancy car. I dropped so much bars I should be locked in jail. Write this shit down. Go platinum. Holy grail. Wood or platinum? Which one I'ma sell? I'm always the golden boy. It's hard to tell. Cam, don't ask for bars, baby. Don't ask for early morning bars, baby. Don't ask for fucking bars in the morning, baby. Well, mofongo. Fuck is you talking about, this early morning bar? Your TY, you heard me drop them bars just now, fresh off top of the dome, son? Yeah. Y'all be thinking I don't got these bars.
I've been waiting for this. Woo, I'm about to make
a name for myself. I'm gonna need y'all to keep hitting them shits, man. I'm gonna need y'all to keep hitting them shits, man. I'm gonna do this one more time right here for my boy.
From JA to UK.
Ah! That's it right there. That's it right there. That's it right there. Everybody dance now. Yo, that's my shit. That's my shit. That's my shit. Fuck wrong with you people. Fuck wrong with y'all. Let's get back to this gaming. Manual. Can I do this one? Oh, they going in circles. Okay. Easy. Easy, Gluttony. Easy. Right there. Fuck! Bam! Fuck out of here. Bam! Who hit it this time? Who hit it this time? It's about damn time. Yeah, fuck it with you. I'm gonna need that to be extended. I'm gonna need that shit to be extended because I'm about to bust a move in this bitch. I'm about to bust a move in this bitch. I'm gonna need CJ to extend the fuck out of that. I'm gonna need CJ to extend the fuck out of that shit right there. Like, why is it so short? I'm gonna kick a nigga in his face. Why is it so short? I'm gonna sit my old ass down. Fuck you, Gluttony. I don't know why, but just fuck you. Little nigga.
From JA to UK.
I don't know. I'm just hyped. I don't know why I'm kicking the chair, kitty. The chair ain't do shit to me, but keep me comfortable. With the good backrest. You see, I got the shit right here for the back. See that? I'm old. I need that. Fuck you, Gluttony. I don't know why, but fuck you. Shit. Bitch ass nigga. All the way from the UK with your bitchness. Don't tell CJ, but I broke it, okay? Don't tell CJ, chat. I broke it. Come on. Come on. I don't see y'all dropping no emotes when that shit. Who played it this time? Who played it this time? Who played it? Gluttony. Fuck you, Gluttony. You my boy though, but fuck you. Little big head nigga. Shit. Don't tell CJ, guys, but I broke it, okay? Shh. When he come over and I need him to fix it, y'all don't say nothing, okay? Because it's not my fault. Y'all got me hyped. I think I kicked it over and the cord came out, and I'm blaming chat. Directly blaming y'all. Y'all broke shit. There you go, kitty. Kitty, there you go, Gluttony. That's what the fuck. I don't know. I'm so giggly right now. I don't know. But we're gonna blame Gluttony for the machine being broken. So Gluttony, it's your fault, bro. It's your fault. Yep, I dropped it again. CJ's gonna fuck me up. That's what he's gonna do. Game Lounge coming to you live. Golden Crush 200 and the Black Eye. Cause CJ fucked him up because I'm always touching shit I'm not supposed to be touching. Yeah. So we're just gonna leave that right there until Gluttony come and fix it, because you broke it. Yep, you broke it, nigga. Oh, and I got the little massage thing too in the chair. You know what I mean? So I can like have a back massage while I game. I never really use it. No, don't go blaming me. It's Gluttony's fault. We all just established that on stream, okay? Thank you. We're blaming Gluttony. That's what we're doing. Everybody here knows it, including you, kitty. Including you. We're blaming Gluttony. It's decided by the whole chat. You see, you're doing it again. He's doing it again. He's doing it again. I'm gonna kick the chair again. I'm kicking it one more goddamn time. Fuck out of here. Fuck out of here. You know what? I didn't have my slippers on. Now I got my slippers. I wasn't completing the fit. I wasn't completing. You see, Gluttony? I'm calling CJ right now. Where's the phone? Call CJ right now. And call CJ right now. I'll call CJ right now and tell him. Think I'm joking? Y'all better hope he don't pick up. But I got a list of complaints from Mr. Gluttony over there. All the way from the fucking UK. Fuck you. Fuck you, sir. Put my slippers on. Lucky TJ still sleeping. You're lucky. You're lucky, because I was really about to snitch on you, Gluttony. I was really about to snitch on you. You better hope I can fix it before CJ get here, and I gotta make a long list of fucking complaints that you over here breaking shit. Okay? Dancing. Kitty said, dance now makes him kick. I don't know. I got excited. I'm trying to fix it before Gluttony gets here. Trying to fix it. Bacon, egg, and cheese in this motherfucker. Bacon, egg, and cheese. You better hope it's fixed, Gluttony. Because, woo, when CJ get here and he's mad at you, I can't help you. I can tell you that right now. I can't help you, man. I can't help you. Got no sounds because Gluttony broke it.
You know how long I've been waiting for this? Woo, I'm about to make a
Make a
name for
name
myself.
for
Yeah.
myself, motherfucker. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna try and hold on. I broke shit again. This is why they don't allow me to touch stuff. This is genuinely the reason why they don't allow me to touch stuff. If you guys noticed, I broke everything. There we go. We back up. All right. Try to finish this level because I do have to go run some errands. That's why I started an early session. Then when I come back, I'm going to continue the same game. And I'm need y'all to recharge these blurps because I'm going to come back with more weed and I'm going to drink some liquor. So we're going to have a good fucking time because I feel good today. Oh my days. Oh my days, bro. What you mean? Oh my days, man. What you ah! Oh god, oh my days, bro. Fuck out of here. I can't even press the fucking button from JA to UK because you broke it. Did CJ call me back yet? Because I'm definitely telling on you. Wait. You wait. I'm gonna complain on Gluttony. And Kitty, Brooklyn Jeff, Maid Koza, and TY, y'all all saw Gluttony break it. You guys all saw Gluttony break it. So you gotta when CJ get here, you know, y'all gonna tell CJ that I've been trying to fix it because Gluttony broke it. That's what we're gonna tell him. Right? Right, chat? Remember, what day is today? Tuesday, August 19th. We all agreed in a virtual social media Twitch online contract that we all gonna tell CJ in the chat that Gluttony broke it. And it wasn't me this time. And I was trying to fix it. Because Gluttony was kicking shit. Mm-hmm. No, I'm not. You ain't even lying, Kitty. That's why I didn't mess with it. That's why Gluttony broke it. Remember, Kitty? Okay, remember the story, okay? Gluttony broke it. Good. Great. Oh my, everybody was like, oh my days. Why did Gluttony come to America and do that to your technology, bro? He sent a virus from the UK all the way the fuck over here to fuck my shit up. And it worked. So, you know, no, old and technology don't go together. That's why you broke it. That's why you broke it. So we just gotta clear up this rumor right now that it was me. It was Gluttony. Chat. Y'all got my back? We just gotta clear it up right now. It was Gluttony. TY, Kitty, Brooklyn Jeff. Because you remember Brooklyn Jeff, the other day, I be exposing Gluttony. I got it. The other day on your stream, on Gluttony's stream, he was trying to come at you. Oh my days. Oh my days. He didn't even say oh my days. He said oh my days and nights, yo. He said oh my days and nights, morning, noons, and evenings that Brooklyn Jeff don't be showing up when we playing games. And I was the only one that said no. He come to my show all the time. He been here several times. Brooklyn Jeff show the fuck up. You feel me? I was defending Brooklyn Jeff. I was saying he was playing Fall Guys with us. That he was playing. Goddamn. God, who pressed the button? Goddamn it. Oh man, he was playing goddamn Fall Guys with us the other day, and I remember because I was defending my friend Brooklyn Jeff. I was defending my friend Brooklyn Jeff's honor that day, and I was the only one, Brooklyn Jeff, that was defending you. So when it comes story time on Sunday at the Game Lounge, we're gonna tell CJ the DJ That Gluttony broke the shit. And now we don't got no Hadouken sounds. We don't got no Superman sounds. We don't got no Drop the Bomb. We don't got no from JA to UK. We don't got no ha ha. We don't got no what's up because Gluttony broke it. We don't got the clap because Gluttony broke it. We just all need to TY. Next time we see CJ the DJ, this is the story, kitty. Everybody agree? All right. What you mean? What you mean? You broke it, bro. You broke it. You broke the machine that makes the sounds. It was you. It wasn't TY. It wasn't Kitty. It wasn't Brooklyn Jeff. It wasn't Made Koza. It was you. It was Gluttony. Shit was working fine till your big head ass got in the room and started fucking with shit and got you made me kick the chair, bro. That's what happened. You made me kick the chair. It was you. It was you. Agree. Brooklyn Jeff. Yes. Yes. Brooklyn. Yeah. I'm gonna give a shout out to Brooklyn Jeff. Because I'm always looking out for my buddy Brooklyn Jeff. You remember that, Brooklyn Jeff? I'm always the one that I got your back, BK. I got your back, Brooklyn. It wasn't you, TY. It wasn't you. Bridge Crew. Bridge Crew. We gotta look out for each other, Bridge Crew. TY. Bridge Crew. Support. Support. We in the same group. Gang, gang all day. All that shit, nigga. Gang, gang all day, nigga. All that shit, nigga. All that gang, gang shit, nigga. We locked in, nigga. What the fuck is you talking about? We gotta stick together. You feel me? We gotta stick together from the heart, TY. We've been rocking for mad months now, T. You feel me? Don't let Gluttony separate us. I'm gonna give a shout out. I'm gonna give a shout out because I got friends. I'm gonna give a shout out. Give a shout out. I got friends. I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy Brooklyn Jeff. You feel me? Because Brooklyn Jeff said he got your boy back. Brooklyn Jeff said he gonna hold it down. Just like I just exposed Gluttony the other day. He was trying to talk bad about my boy Brooklyn Jeff. And I was like, wait, no. Don't say that about Brooklyn Jeff. Because Brooklyn Jeff show up to the game lounge. Brooklyn Jeff show up to the couch chat. You feel me? Brooklyn Jeff, we be talking, bro. He was playing Fall Guys with us, bro. You didn't even mention that and all your hate that you were spreading on Brooklyn Jeff that day. You didn't even mention that he played Fall Guys with us. I got your back, Brooklyn Jeff. I got your back, homie. Don't let these niggas talk shit about you. So okay, everybody, we agree, right? We agree, right? Everybody says we agree. When we see Gluttony, when we see CJ the DJ, we're gonna let him know. Everybody gonna agree. Everybody. So because they're not gonna believe just me, because they're gonna say I'm not supposed to touch stuff. That's what they're gonna say, right? So we're gonna let everybody know that Gluttony broke it, and y'all my witnesses. Y'all got my back. For rage. You feel me? So then we're not gonna let Gluttony talk shit about Brooklyn Jeff. We're not gonna let him talk about the gang like that. You feel me? My peoples. Unite. I'm trying to unite the people. You feel me? This is what I came on Twitch to do. You feel me? As an OG, is to unite my peoples. You feel me? And if you're gonna unite the peoples, the first thing you gotta do is get rid of the haters. Come on now. Gluttony, we know that's you. Gluttony, we know that's you. Them UK niggas be wildin', okay, bruv? Them UK niggas be wildin', bruv. You understand what I'm saying now? So all I'm saying is, fuck out of here with your beans and toast, nigga. Come over here ruining good technology and shit. I'm snitching on you. I'm telling on you. Kick the shit out of me. Yo, these ice cream dudes are the fucking worst. Yeah, I want to press buttons, but I can't. I want to press so much buttons right now, but I can't because Gluttony broke it. This is amazing, yo. I ain't never came to your stream and break your technology before. It's crazy. Turn around, my guy. Trying to get through this level because I gotta go soon. Trying to see if I can get through this level. Oh boy, I just want to get on this level. I don't know. Why you can't do it again? Didn't other people do it more than once? I don't know. I really don't know. Tell CJ on YouTube, cause you breaking it. Snitching. Okay, let's get past this shit. Manual hack. You know how we do.
Got it. Yeah. Ooh.
Fuck, I thought I had it.
Okay.
Fuck, come on.
Control Alt Delete. Okay. Alright.
Bam. Come on. Come on. I'm so dodging that shit though. What? Come on. Oh, okay. All right, finish the level.
Stay vigilant. The Dark Queen is behind this door.
Probably.
Probably. I thought you pinpointed her precise location.
Pinpointed guess. Who can remember?
I remember. You said pinpointed.
We're wasting time.
Let's just go inside and punch whatever we see, okay?
Fine. It may be walking a certain death.
Not just any intruders. The soon-to-be famous...
Battletoads?
It's the Queen! Punch! Let go, Pimple!
You're not punching a baby.
But it's ugly.
Drop the ugly
My
baby.
man was
Don't
about
really
to
drop
knock
it,
out
though.
a
Just set
baby.
it down
Wild.
gently.
Not until I explain myself.
Toad Huddle. She's really got us over a barrel with that butt ugly baby.
I vote to let her talk.
Yeah, fine, whatever. Let go. It stings when you pinch it off like that.
Okay, Queen. You have exactly 10 seconds to explain yourself. Go!
I'm being held prisoner in this park by a race of celestial aliens named the Topians who stole my powers and hired a giant guardian to block my escape. I've secretly been using radiation to create sentient carnival toys that I hoped would mutate into fierce warriors, but instead came out brassy, all about the holidays, and anatomically correct, to name a few. We devised a plan to topple the guard and travel the cosmos to defeat the Topian overlords, thus freeing the galaxy and restoring the power I lost 26 years ago, then time permitting, get that naked toys and pants.
Why would she get the pants last?
The Queen has been here for 26 years. We were in the bunker for 26 years. Do you know what that means?
Oh my god. It means she's not famous either.
More importantly, means the Topians locked us in the bunker.
Who cares? The Dark Queen was our ticket back to the top. If she's not famous, then we can't be famous. And if we can't be famous, then life is meaningless. Pimple, punch me through my brain.
I don't want to, but I will do anything for you. Are you sure?
Yeah, man. I'm sure.
Okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna punch you through the brain. Oh, God.
I love you so much.
I love you, too.
Wait! We can team up!
I'm sorry, excuse me. This is a Toad Huddle?
I know our history is complicated. I mean, you sent me spinning off into space. No hard feelings. Much respect. But now that you're here, we can execute my plan to defeat the Topians together.
These Topians, are they famous?
Infamous.
I'm in!
I'm not. Thanks for the hot tip, lady, but we can beat the Topians without you.
Wow, that makes me the tie-breaking vote.
I declare a Toad Shampoo!
Toad Shampoo!
A what now?
Toad Shampoo!
What's Toad Shampoo?
Toad Shampoo!
What is it?
Toad Shampoo! It's a tie! Toad Shampoo! Rex wins! Toad Shampoo! Tie! Toad Shampoo! Toad Shampoo! Pimple wins!
I don't even know what I'm doing.
Toad Shampoo!
I don't like this.
Pimple wins!
Oh shit.
down. Now let's
I mean,
steal
we got
a
rid of
spaceship
this
and
guy.
get out of here.
You know what I'm saying? I'm saying I'm bad at rock, paper, scissors.
Wait! Stay calm. You're a queen. You're unflappable. Suck my frigging butt, you backstabbing punks!
This bitch says, "Suck my
duck drop,
butt."
you stinky
Okay,
wimps!
gets a little
Beep,
wild.
beep, garbage butt
And she's showing the ass up too. That's crazy. The arch is kind of crazy though.
The battle toads.
Hey, Queen, correct me if I'm wrong. Earlier, did I hear you scream that we stink?
What? No. I was talking about the cattle toads. Like you guys, but cattle. They stink.
I'm so friggin' pumped. We're gonna be famous. Sup, Topian scum? We just stole a spaceship, and we're coming for you. The Battletoads and the Dark Queen are gonna destroy you. And in case you're wondering, our exact space coordinates are 3x543.
Stop that!
Your Majesties?
Yes, mortal.
Moments ago, we received this transmission.
The Battletoads and the Dark Queen are gonna destroy you.
Did that voice just say it was going to destroy us?
Who would want to destroy you? You've got the most amazing shape.
I'm wearing Nebulas from Zorthos. You know, the cluster with the gross bugs?
Oh, the gross bugs. See, I think they're cute bugs. With their little wobble.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the wobble. I wonder if they're ready to evolve. Might be fun to set them up.
With the fourth dimension?
Yes, yes, yes.
Now, see,
This
is
game
why
is
little
so
me and you
like
run the
parody.
universe.
It's
What do you want to
crazy.
do about the Dark
That's
Queen
kind of what I
and the
like about it though. This game does not take itself serious at all.
And I'm waiting on a
This is
sandwich.
not a serious game.
Great
After this
torturing,
cutscene, I'm gonna cut
torture
stream because I gotta dip, take care of some business, and then I'll be
400
back.
lashes. See what I did there? I took 4.
I love it.
Whip him.
Yes, and hear that pun in your nightmare.
Yeah. Whip him good. That should be a song.
Write that down.
Pardon my interruption, oh floating ones, but we still haven't located the Dark Queen.
Oh my God, what kind of an update is that?
Yeah, restaurants don't say, "Excuse me, we haven't started making your food."
Oh, you know, that one place did.
Oh, that's right. The place that's mean on purpose.
I don't want to pay you to be mean to me. That's what I have a mother for.
Have you found the other ones? The Arbaltos? The Totalos?
Oh, the things we're looking for. The brutables.
Bartle bears?
The tattletoes.
The beetle bugs?
Fire bats. The jitsu bats.
Battle bees?
That's it.
That's it. Battle bees.
The battle bees.
The Battletoads.
Battle
I'm
bees.
afraid
These
they've eluded
motherfuckers.
capture as well.
What did you do?
Well, I made him 3 inches shorter. Doesn't seem like much, but his entire life will change. Now, do your job before I give you combination skin. That's like when part of your skin is dry.
Parts are oily and parts are dry.
Right, you need the right product.
Those ugly toads and that spinny little witch might be more of a formidable team than we thought.
We couldn't do this with
This game really got no business being this good, bro.
Just don't tell the
This
others
game
this.
got no business being this good, but it is.
Where are we?
Mercury 9, an outer ring planet and home to an old cohort of mine named Jeffrey.
And he's see-through? Cool.
I don't even want to
He's a
leave. I just want to
well-connected
continue
diplomat who
playing this
knows
shit.
a secret entrance into Topian City. However, I need to speak with him alone.
Okay, what's going on here? I thought I was a leader. Are you all conspiring behind my back? Seriously, like, am I paranoid? Do I sound crazy? Am I crazy right now?
No way.
You're the leader.
Okay, good, great. In that case, I say the Queen waits outside while we talk to Jeff.
You don't even know Jeff. Why would he trust you?
Why do you trust me?
I don't. That's why I don't want you talking to Jeff.
Too bad. I'm pulling rank.
This is so stupid. Stupid. I declare one of those thingies. A tishy boom?
Toe-shambo.
Toe-chambo!
Toe-shambo! And introducing the Dark Queen! Toe-shambo! Dark Queen loses! Toe-shambo! Dark Queen loses! Toe-shambo! Dark Queen loses! Dark Queen loses! Again!
Sorry, Queen.
Call me if you have any problems.
Talk about a superiority complex. Okay, everyone, keep your eyes peeled for...
Jeff!
I'm Jeff. How may I help you?
Yeah, hi. I'm in charge here, and we're gonna need
yes,
you
that's-
to tell us the secret way in Utopian City, please. And thank you.
We're working with the Dark Queen.
She works for us, actually?
The Dark Queen is challenging the Topians? Of course I'll share the coordinates. However, I'll need to speak with the Queen herself alone.
We can call her.
No. Anything you would tell her, you can tell us.
That's the opposite of what I said. Not to mention, I'm busy negotiating peace between two warring tribes by acquiring their medallions of respect. So,
Yo,
unless
Glut, you
connect
streaming
me with
today,
the
bro?
Dark Queen immediately, we have nothing left to discuss.
Here.
No! Give it here!
Okay.
Jeff is fine. Jeff is fine.
It's a weird thing to say. Can I talk to him?
This is Jeff.
Jeff, you sound different.
I have pink eye.
Pink eye doesn't change how you sound.
Kazan, gotcha.
Pink mouth?
So sorry, super pink. Gotta go. Bye.
You know I'll be there hating on you. You know it.
Jeff's body earned those medallions. He'll wake up and see what we did and then fork over the coordinates. Any objections?
Will it matter?
No, it will not. Let's find those medallions.
Toads, I've intercepted radio chatter about a Topian checkpoint in the area. Be
Damn it,
careful.
if I want to
and
play
don't
some
leave
more.
the palace. That would be stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Ow! Oh crap! There's a bee in the spaceship. Ow, ow, ow!
Oh, the one, the same jelly bitch. What are these dudes? I'm gonna stop here because if I keep going, I'm not gonna get off. If I keep going, I'm not gonna get off. I gotta go run some time important fucking errands. Take me about 2 hours and then I'll be back. I'm gonna stream again when I get back. The days it's only 12:50. Yeah, like around 3 o'clock. So, damn little bro, if you was on, I would have raided the room right now, but you're not ready yet. So let me go. Let's go meet. Let's go to. What are we gonna raid to? Let's go to. Who haven't I raided yet? Let's go see Bandits Laura playing Monster Hunter. I haven't seen somebody playing Monster Hunter in a while. Let's go raid out. Let's raid out, chat. Alright, chat. When y'all get there, hit the raid buttons. Do what y'all do. Make GK look good. You know what I'm saying? Chat up a little bit before y'all depart. Very good, very good streamer. If y'all don't know Bandit Lara. Let's start the raid. I will be back later. Y'all already know. Your boy GK. We out.